excited to teach you guys this recipe today. This is a meal that me and my husband love to make. Beer bratwurst and caramelized onions. It's gonna be amazing, and I'm gonna show you guys everything you need. We make 36 bratwursts at a time. They're that good. We go through them in about a week, maybe less. You don't have to make 36 at a time. You can make maybe 12 at a time if you want, and you're still going to use the same ingredients for less bratwurst. Now, they're going to be beer brats, so you're going to need beer. We just use, honestly, whatever is cheapest, because that's what tastes best. So 2 24-ounce cans of cheap beer, okay? And then a very large pot to cook them in. Now for the onions, we use about 9 or 10 onions at a time would be good. These are sweet onions or Vidalia onions. And then we cook them in a cast iron pan. This is about a medium-sized pan. Spatula to stir them with. We need clarified butter. I'll show you how to make that in one of my videos. I'll link down below. 1 whole stick of butter. And then you're going to need your cutting board and knife to cut your onions. And to sweeten the onions, coconut sugar. You can get this at Trader Joe's, and honestly most grocery stores have coconut sugar now. And that's it. Now we're going to start with the beer brats. I forgot to mention too, we're going to be grilling these beer brats, so make sure you have a grill. We're going to be putting all the beer brats in your giant pot, and then we're going to add all of the beer to the pot of beer brat. And don't worry, all of the alcohol gets cooked out, so you don't have to worry about consuming any alcohol if you're pregnant or if you want to give beer brats to your kids. All the alcohol gets cooked out. Now, depending on how many beer brats you have in here, you just want to fill the rest of the pot up with water from the sink just until all of the beer brats are covered completely with liquid. I stirred up and broke up all the beer brats and then covered them with water. We're going to put the stove on a medium-low heat. We're going to cover it. We're going to let our beer brat simmer at this heat for maybe 20 minutes. You want to wait till you get that nice hot foam on the top, and I'll show you what that looks like. In the meantime, let's start our onions. Start with 2 to 3 tablespoons of clarified butter, then turn your stove burner on a medium heat. And the entire stick of butter. While this is melting, we're going to cut up all of our onions into medium-sized strips. This is about the size you want your onion strips to be. I cut my onion in half and then cut it into 3 strips. And then I'm going to do the rest with all my onions. Each time you get an onion cut, make sure you add it to your cast iron pot with all the butter and clarified butter, just to make sure it doesn't start splattering all over your stove. So just add your onions as quick as you can. Now that we've got all our onion slices in our cast iron, we're going to add coconut sugar with a spoon. You just want a nice layer on top, and keep your coconut sugar handy because we're going to keep adding coconut sugar throughout the cooking process. This is about the layer of coconut sugar I get on the onions, and then once it cooks down a little, I'm going to give it a stir. In the meantime, let's go get our grill started. So my husband likes to use a little smoked box with mesquite wood pellets. Gives everything kind of a nice mesquite smoky flavor. I'm checking on my onions, and they've cooked down a little bit, so I'm going to give them a stir and add a little bit more coconut sugar. Now that I've stirred them, I'm going to add my layer of coconut sugar. Right, there's my second layer. Now if you want some sort of a measure reference, I use about 3 tablespoons every time I put a layer on. We're going to put a layer on maybe 4 times throughout the whole cooking process. I'm going to check on my beer brats over here, see how they're doing. They're starting to foam a little bit, and the heat is not quite where I want it to be. So I'm just gonna turn up the heat on the stove to maybe medium-high heat, just to kind of get them going so we can get those on the grill sometime soon. While you're cooking these onions, you want to stir them about every 5 minutes at least. Scrape the bottom, get that coconut sugar stirred all throughout the onions. Something that we use to prevent a lot of splattering on our stove is this mesh strainer right here. I think we got this at TJ Maxx. You just set it, just sits flat on top of your pan like that, and it just prevents a lot of splattering. Just make sure you don't put an actual lid on your onions because they'll turn out really soupy. You want them to get almost a sticky, caramely texture at the end when we're done cooking them, and they need that air and they need to evaporate that liquid as they cook in order to do that. We're going to check on our beer brats. They've been simmering for maybe about 25 minutes or so. You see we've got that little layer of foam on the top and they feel nice and warm. You don't want them boiling, but they've got a couple bubbles here and there, which is perfect. You don't want to cook them in the beer, you just want to get them nice and hot in the beer. Now we're going to take all the beer brats, put them on the grill, but make sure you keep all of that beer and water in the pot because we're going to put them back in there after they're done on the grill. It's kind of a gloomy day out right now. It's raining, so we're grilling in the garage. We're just going to put all our beer brats on the grill.
One thing you want to look for is this smoke right here. And this is what's going to give it a lot of flavor. And so, because the more smoky they get, the better the flavor is going to be on them. And you want to not turn them too often, but I feel like right here you would think they're done, but they're really not. So all that outer stuff is going to go away once you put them back on the beer. And this is what's going to give it like a really good flavor. So you want to flip them and you want to kind of get them a little bit char, a little bit more, and it'll get a little bit of a crunchy taste. Don't be afraid of getting like very dark. It's just good flavor. It's not going to ruin your beer brats. It's going to be just really good flavor. So keep them closed, just flip them every now and then. Keep the grill closed so the fire doesn't go too crazy, and that way it builds more smoke. The smoke is what's going to give it that smoky good flavor.
We're going to give our onions another stir and add one last layer of coconut sugar. That's going to be it for our coconut sugar. Now at this point we just want the onions to cook down, all the juices to evaporate, and we want to try to get a caramel texture, especially starting on the bottom of the pan. So keep stirring, keep scraping. Alright, so a couple of our beer brats are ready, so we're going to be putting them back in our beer and water right here. So that's what our done brat looks like. And we're just going to put it back in the beer and the water. And we're going to do that with any other brats that are also done. I'm still stirring my caramelized onions. This whole process takes about 45 minutes to an hour to cook them. You just don't want to cook them too fast because you'll get one layer that's burnt on the bottom and then the top isn't really going to be cooked. So it does take a while. It's a slow process, but in the end, they taste so amazing. They taste like candy and they taste so good with those beer brats. So notice how a lot of the liquid has evaporated. Just keep stirring and keep allowing this liquid to evaporate. Alright, one of my indicators to know that these are ready to be turned off is that when you scrape the bottom of the pan, you see how you can see the pan for a couple seconds? That means that the liquid has gotten caramelized and thick enough. So, you can go ahead and turn the burner off and just let them sit on the heat, let them cool down by themselves, and we'll come back and check on them in a couple minutes. Now I've let my caramelized onions cool down a little bit after we turn the heat off, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm just going to give them a stir again. This is the consistency we want. Nice golden brown onions with just a little bit of that caramely liquid at the bottom. And you can put a spoonful or so on your beer brats, dip them in the sauce, and it tastes amazing together. Alright, now that all the beer brats are done on the grill, we've put them all back in our beer and water, and you're just going to let them sit on the stove on a very low heat for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. The longer you leave them sit in here, maybe up to a half an hour or so, the more beer flavor they'll soak up, and it tastes amazing. Now that your onions are done cooking on the stove and your beer brats are done on the grill and have simmered in the pot for maybe 5-10 minutes, everything's ready to serve. As far as storing your beer brats, just take each of them out of that beer and water and put them in a plastic or glass container, and you can either throw your onions on top of that or put them in a separate container. They taste great together. Alright, time to taste our beer brats and caramelized onions, and again, don't worry, all the alcohol is cooked out, so it's safe if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you want to give it to your toddler or your kids. Are you ready? Oh, say hi! Good job! Alright, here's our caramelized onions and beer brats right here. And we're gonna get a scoop and see how he likes it. How's that? What do you think? Is that yummy? Is that yummy? Do you want more? You want more? Okay. You want more? Yummy? Yummy? He loves it! Thanks for watching, guys. Please like the video if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel, and share this recipe with anyone you think might like it. Bye, guys. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good job. Bye, guys.